So I think when you bring up the words Kevin Durant or the name Kevin Durant, you're going to get a mixed reaction depending on who you talk to. If you talk to a Thunder fan, the wounds have probably healed by now, but it might be pouring salt on it. And we don't know if it's open or not. You just should ask him. You ask a Warriors fan, he brought you 2 titles, so you really have nothing bad to say about him. If you're a Nets fan, he brought you excitement. He wanted to be the man on this new team, and it's failed for the most part, but not for the reasons you'd think. And where I'm going to go with this is I believe the Nets have done Kevin Durant a huge service, but I also want to talk about where he can go from here. I think for all that Kevin Durant is, there's 2 things that Kevin Durant wants to do. He wants to be well received by everybody. It's evident on his Twitter and when he talks on podcasts. He wants respect. He feels like he's earned it. He's been in the league a long time. He's one of the best players ever. It feels like he sometimes doesn't earn that same slice of the pie as maybe LeBron does when it comes to certain moves that he's made. And for me, I think Durant earned my respect big time, earned it back when he was on the Nets because he truly gave everything he had to the Nets organization. He truly gave every ounce of himself when he was available, when he was healthy. He was the best player on the court, the best player in the world. Certainly something that you could say you brought together the super team with James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and you couldn't get past the second round of the NBA playoffs. That's a huge failure in my eyes, especially for a team like the Nets that have been experimenting for the large part of the decade. You had the Boston Big Three that traded away to the Nets for all those picks that eventually turned into Tatum and Brown, experimenting to see if you can get in the playoffs with KG, Paul Pierce. Those guys ended up not working out the way they thought it would. And then you bring in this new experiment with Durant, Irving, and Harden, all who have been polarizing figures for sure. So according to Logan Murdoch of The Ringer, Kevin Durant is losing faith in the Nets. And with this Kyrie Irving situation, he hasn't talked to anybody on the team in weeks, and he's potentially looking for a way out. Depending on how this situation with Irving goes, man, I certainly thought when this team was brought together that it was very much a power struggle. I think Kevin Durant was the clear one, but I think there was a lot of problems with Irving specifically, the vaccine stuff, however you feel about that, him missing a lot of games and a lot of time. James Harden was brought into the fold. James Harden was brought into the fold and then out of the fold very quickly. So the Nets were constantly changing parts, adding players like LaMarcus Aldridge, Patty Mills, trying to find different pieces to make it work, and they just couldn't. And I think that's a really big issue with Durant. I think that there's a lot of things that he does right, and I think that he's been trying to right this ship since the Golden State thing. Right the ship, depending on how you feel about it. I think there's only one real clear path for him forward. I don't think he's going to suit up as a net next year. I don't think Kyrie Irving is going to be a net next year. I think Irving wants to go to the Lakers, if that's even going to work, or somewhere where he can be the man again and kind of be free from this situation. It's so frustratingly weird. It's crazy, especially someone who I don't love Kyrie Irving, but I think he's one of the best players on the planet. There's just always something. There's always something in the way. There's always something going on. There's always something personally happening. Irving has always been a free spirit, does what he wants, doesn't ask for anybody's permission, just goes for it. And I think that bothers Durant in a lot of ways, who just wants to play basketball, just wants to win, just wants to feel like he's getting the respect of his peers, respect of his people on Twitter. That's why he's on there. He's looking for people to say good stuff about him. I mean, I would too. It's a lonely job sometimes for him, I'm sure. But I think that there's a way, and I heard this on First Things First, there's a way for him to almost eliminate all that and move forward. Obviously, this title is The Nets Have Failed Kevin Durant, and I think it's simply because they put the wrong people around him. I think they could still potentially make it work. Maybe they trade Kyrie Irving out and they say, hey, we can make this work with Ben Simmons. We can make this work with you. He's facilitating to you. He plays defense. You're the main guy. We can get some people around you in free agency who wouldn't want to play for you, Kevin Durant. But I think the ship has sailed. I think there's been too much that's happened, too many mistakes, too many times where almost the management has folded to the players. It's a disaster. And I think Durant should get out. I heard that, and it's not confirmed by any means, and I heard this isn't my own idea, but I did want to elaborate on it. I don't like to take certain ideas from other people, especially when they're more established than me, but I did like the idea of it. I heard the Blazers is a potential spot for him, which would be awesome because Damian Lillard deserves the world. But I did see the Thunder as an option, and I think it fits with Durant's mold. He wants to play basketball. He wants to be respected. He wants to be loved. He wants everyone to embrace Kevin. Kevin wants to be loved. Kevin wants to be hugged. This could really work. You would almost do what LeBron did with Cleveland in 2016, winning a title, or he joined the team in 2015, but won the title in his second year with the team in his second stint. Durant eliminates any idea of being a villain. You go back to Oklahoma City, the place where you started your career, the place where you became KD, the Slim Reaper. Oklahoma City has a lot of real estate to work with. This is what they've been building for. Not necessarily Kevin Durant coming back, but building up all these assets, all these picks, all these players, potentially getting back the guy, the one that everyone used to love and no longer call him a snake. And that was a big thing. That was a big deal back when I was in high school, was Durant's a snake, and all the not TikTok, what was it? Vine? Lord, I'm old. But all the memes and stuff, as we call it. But the Thunder have $1 billion first-round picks to work with. They have Chet Holmgren, who they could really just mock Cleveland and what they did. Say, hey, we have Chet Holmgren. We have a bunch of first-round picks. Let's send it over to Brooklyn. You guys can start over with a fascinating new talent. We get Durant. He pairs up with Josh Giddey, Luke Dort, Trey Mann, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. These are actually guys where you go back to a Thunder team without a problematic Westbrook, which was a big problem. And I don't have all the answers with that situation, but I know Westbrook was a big part of why he left. The way Westbrook plays, the way he distributes the ball, the way he handles himself. You get over there, you're the guy, and you have players who not only can create for themselves, but have a clear understanding that they get you the ball and you can make stuff happen. Durant nearly averaged 30 points a game. I think it was 29.9 points when he was available. I know the Celtics gave him some trouble, but it was a very emotional series. Kyrie Irving batting back with the Celtics fans, flipping people off and stuff. So get him back to the Thunder. You eliminate that villainous role. He becomes a hero again, and he's surrounded by a ton of young talent, which could work like that. It could mold instantly. Durant could wear 35 again. He can be the hero. Something really fascinating that I thought. It could happen. I know that this has become more of a spitballing thing, but you get somebody like Kevin Durant comes in, has done a lot of growth. It's almost like a rebirth in a way. He's able to come back. The fans praise him. They say, well, he left before, but he came back and he won us a championship. And that would honestly, for a lot of people, I think, do it for him, because a lot of people see him as a very skilled offensive player, one of the best players of all time. Add that third ring, doing it yourself without the Warriors super team that people could debunk. You win a finals MVP. It's something that can happen. I think it's very realistic. I think it's very fascinating. We're going to learn a lot more information as the days come, as free agency develops, as the draft develops. I'm very excited about it. It's something that I had to talk about to you guys because I love talking about this show to you guys. Episode 94 of the MWP Plan podcast. Why Arch Manning is a huge win for college football going to Texas, and why the Nets have failed Kevin Durant. But where does he go from here? This was episode 94, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I love this so much. You guys have been killing it. Thank you all who are tuned in to the Ricky Sapp, and for you people that have tuned into the Bo Collins interview. It has popped up recently, and I really appreciate that. Guys, thank you as always. I have a bunch of fun videos planned. I'm going to be heading out soon on vacation, but that doesn't mean the podcast stops. I will be bringing you guys along with me. I'm going to try to make more TikToks and Reels on Instagram so you guys can stay engaged. Very excited about that. I have some stuff with some former players that I'm working on right now for dates and times, so stay tuned for that. A lot of fun stuff planned. We're just getting started. Thank you guys as always. Take care and have a great day.